All right, trade recap for Tuesday, March 10th. Got chopped up this morning, so we'll go over the trade. Why I ended up entering here and literally immediately took a loss. What I did wrong, how I can improve, which is the most important part. Um, so let's get into it. As always, bias coming into the morning. This is what we look like high time frame wise. I wanted to see us come down and tap into this 4 hour gap, and then potentially start to continue the trend higher as the 4 hour and the hourly structure has shifted bullish to the upside. But it looked like we were good for a retrace to this 4 hour gap. We hadn't gotten a retrace yet, and we had inverted this bullish 1 hour gap right here. So I wanted to see us come down and tap into that 4 hour gap. And this is what the 15-minute chart looked like pre-market. So that's what I wanted to see. So the bias was fairly simple in my opinion. And right off the market open, this was the trade right here. This was just something I marked out. That ended up getting break even regardless. But this was the trade that I lost right here. So yeah, right off market open, we end up getting a couple strong candles to the upside, and I'm like, okay, like, are we just gonna go ahead and rip to this buy side liquidity right off the open? If so, I'm willing to take a trade. I was wanting to see the 5 minute candles close, and it ended up being where this after this this retrace right here was just too strong, and so there was never a flip up, never any longs presented, obviously. So was originally potentially looking to see if we were just going to rip up higher off open. We didn't, and we ended up failing and inversing and closing through this 1 minute bullish gap, which was which is what I wanted to see hold if I was going to be able to take a trade long to this buy side up here. We ended up not holding that, and so I'm like, okay, well, if we're not going to hold that, we're not going to continue higher. Probably going to go continue short down to this 4 hour gap, which is my main draw on liquidity for the morning. And ES never tapped this 4 hour gap either, so I don't even know how ES hasn't tapped the 4 hour gap. So just kind of poor delivery, honestly. Also, we're back into the high time frame range after rejecting the low from this weekly sell side. We are literally we're back in this ugly range, dude. Okay. So anyways, coming back to the trade that I ended up taking, so it was honestly, it's on me because I was this is what I would consider a premature entry. I was just a little bit too quick to enter this trade. And why is that? Well, we started to run through this bullish gap. I wanted to see shorts down to this 4 hour gap down here. What's going to confirm that, in my opinion? Well, really, I took this trade based off of the 5 minute close. Now you may be looking at that. How did you take that off the 5 minute close when the 5 minute looks like this? And the 5 minute wick looks like this. Well, this was literally the 9:44 candle. So when I entered here, we had one more minute until the 5 minute candle was going to close, and this was also going to be the 15-minute candle close. So this was a very bearish 5 minute first candle, extreme rejection. This also would have been a 15-minute candle close after coming up, like tapping into this 15-minute. It would have been, so we would have had this huge wick down, and then closing bearish like that. I hope that makes sense. After rejecting out of this 15, it would have been rejecting out of this hourly gap right here. It just would have been an insanely bearish 15-minute, 5-minute candle close, like something that I would have literally no regrets about taking. And so my thought process here was, okay, the 5-minute, the 15-minute candles are about to close. If we wanted to go higher, in my opinion, we would have already done so. And if we're going to get these 15-minute, 5-minute candle bearish closes, like we're probably going to sell off to the 4-hour gap. At the same time, ES's 5-minute candle, where was this? 5-minute. Yeah, it was this 5-minute candle on ES. ES looked like it was about to sell off as well to this 4-hour gap. So I just entered literally I just entered 1 minute too early before the 5-minute, before the 15-minute candles actually closed, which would have given me the proper confirmation, in my opinion, to go short here. And the reason I did so is because we had already started to fail higher, and then we started to fall lower, closing below wicks. And we closed below these wicks here, and that's why I entered. I thought we were just going to continue to fall, and I didn't want it to get so far extended to where, like, if the next candle closed and we were already down here with this next candle that opened up, it's like, okay, I can't really take a trade at that point. So that's the reason why I entered, you could say, like, literally 1 minute too early, is because I was afraid we were just going to completely start to fall based on the way that NQ was looking and based on the way that ES was looking. ES looked incredibly bearish as well. So those are the reasons why I entered a little bit prematurely. That's why I would call this a premature entry. And literally within 15 seconds of being in this position, we just fly. We just take off and fly to the upside, and I knew I was cooked as soon as I entered this trade. Like 10 seconds, 15 seconds after my entry was taken, I knew I was cooked. I already posted the live trade on short form, TikTok, Instagram Shorts. So if you want to see that, you can go check that out. But yeah, that's why I entered here, and that's why this trade that's why this trade played against me. And obviously, had I waited for this 5-minute candle to close, there's no way in hell I'm ever taking a trade like that. And that's how a lot of trades are, even on no trading days. That's how a lot of no trading days are, to be honest, is where you have these mental conditions set. It's like, okay, well, if we close down here if we get a very bearish 15-minute candle close, 5-minute candle close, and we close all the way down here, then I'm good to enter. And then sometimes the very next candle gets bought up like this, and then you end up closing the 5-minute and the 15-minute like this, and it's like, okay, well, there's no way you're like, the trade's off the table at that point. And it's just me being a little bit early to the trade, and that's pretty much it. That's why this didn't play out. I thought my drawn liquidity was good. Thought my bias was fine. Like I said, I don't know how we don't come down and at least tap this 4-hour gap on ES. But like I also said, we rejected back into this high time frame range, which is like not good. That's not what we want to see. Do not want to be in this chop. I was really hoping we'd start to sell off and get out of here, but unfortunately we've gotten bought back up right back into it, and hey, there's nothing we can do about it. So we just got to be more defensive. And the thing that allowed me to have success even within this high time frame chop is the fact that I was waiting for those 5-minute candles and 15-minute candles to close, and allowing those higher time frame candle closes to guide me to my drawn liquidity, right? So really prioritizing those higher time frames, and that's what I attempted to do here, and was just a little bit premature in doing so. Like I said, had I waited for the next minute to go by and this 5-minute candle to actually confirm lower, then I wouldn't have taken this loss, right? And that's that. So yeah, like I said, it would have been, I can't really count this as like a statistical good loss because of the fact that I was premature in my entry. But had this 5-minute candle closed bearish down here like this after this bearish wick, had the 15-minute candle closed down, that would have been super, super bearish. Like there would have been no regrets about the trade had that happened. But since I was a little bit early, went against me, and that's that. So that's the loss. And the plan was to go break even at these internal lows here and then hold to the 4-hour gap. Yeah, I played a little bit tighter of a stop loss just because we had so many wicks. Rejection wick, 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 and then we finally start to sell off below this area in price, which is also the opening candle, the opening area of price. So yeah, that's how I could have improved. That's why I took this trade. Unfortunately, it just falls into the category of every single one of my losses. Pretty much. Dang near every single one of my losses are because of either a early premature entry before the drawn liquidity is actually confirmed. Like I've said a million times in this video already, I would have felt like the drawn liquidity was confirmed with that 15-minute, 5-minute candle close. So premature entries and then entering after, let's say, internal liquidity is already wicked out. So let's say we came down and wicked out this internal low. We have a 1-minute candle wick, but we also then rebalance to, dude, what is going on? Okay, I don't know what in the world. I don't know what is wrong with Top Step when it comes to that trading tool. But let's say we already wicked out this internal low. We then came up and rebalanced to a 1-minute gap, and then got displacement from that without actually closing below the internal low, which that's the other category of the majority, pretty much all my losses. And so this falls into that premature entry that I would define it as. Yeah, so that sucks that it falls into the thing that I know the majority of my losses come from. So all I can do now is journal it, move on, and let it allow this loss to build me up and make me a better trader. So that's what I'm going to do. Still have a 2-trade buffer here, because risking about 500 per trade. So still have a 2-trade buffer built up. And if I'm taking good trades, there's no way I'm losing 2 statistical good losses in a row, just with the way that my system plays out. So it's up to me. If I can just stay disciplined and take good trades, I will be rewarded with another payout. If not, then I'll have to. This account will be blown. And so, yeah, just nothing I can do other than to learn from it, journal from it, and improve. And in the future, just wait for these 5-minute, 15-minute candles to close, especially when you're entering off the low of where price is. Need that higher time frame to close. So looks like we're gonna come up and just pump to the SPY side liquidity up here. Like I said, I'm surprised we didn't come down and tap this 4-hour gap. But with that being said, let me know if you took a trade or not this morning. Hopefully you didn't get cooked like I did. Another valid entry would have been, in my opinion, here. You can see we've actually started to close bearish on the higher time frames after tapping this 5-minute gap. And so this is what I actually had marked out earlier as just something like this. This was this would have been a good entry, and it would have gotten break evened. So that was the only other valid entry that I saw, in my opinion. Other than that, let me know if you took a trade this morning. And yeah, man, that's a trade recap. Gonna learn from it, improve, journal, and move on. So I will see y'all tomorrow. I think we have CPI this week, so red folder news throughout the rest of the week. Hopefully we get blessed with some good opportunity, some good volatility. So other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.